Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the two more kinds of loops. Maybe just one, but I'll try to do both. Well, one is just a modification of one, and then another one is just another loop that's really useful. So we can erase all this. We don't need it anymore. What we're going to do now is we're going to do it's called a for loop. So basically in a for loop, it takes in three things. It takes in an instance something, so we're going to put int x equals 0, and then after you instance something, it checks a condition. If this condition is true, then it keeps looping. So if x is less than 10, then it's going to keep looping. And after this, you're going to put one more thing that you want it to do every time, no matter what. So we're just going to add 1 to x, so that eventually it'll get out of the loop. And then what we're going to do in here is we're going to print out x, just to show you that it works. And as you can see, x starts at 0. It does all this. It does whatever we put in here, so it prints out 0, and then it adds 1 to x and starts over the loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, that works fine. And then another thing that's useful is, like if statements or while statements, you can nest for loops. So for int y equals 0, y is less than 10, while y is less than 10, and then add 1 to y. Then we're going to print out, just to make some sense out of this, we're going to print out x, and then a space, plus x, plus, and what we're going to do here is we're going to put a slash, and then t, which means we're going to put a tab in the text, space, no space, don't worry about a space there, y, and then put a space there, plus y. As you can see, what it does here is, it's like the while loop we made a while ago, where it just goes through all of these. So for loops may not be the best for this situation, but they're actually really useful in other situations. As you can see, it goes through, it starts this loop with x equaling 0, and then since it has this loop, it does everything inside this loop like I showed before. So it just loops through all the numbers, and it's pretty nice to look at. It makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, then let me know and I'll try to explain it better. And then the other loop, it's just a modification on the while loop. So if you want a loop to always run, let's just say int x equals 0. So we're going to put, and then it's called a do while loop. So it's always going to run at least once. So you put do, and inside of here you put what you want it to do. So do, and then we're just going to print out x. And then after this we have an error here because you have to put a while here. So while x is less than 10. And also let's add 1 to x in here. So while x is less than 10, then it's going to do this. But because of the way this loop works, so if you run this, just to prove that it works, you can see it goes through 0 to 9, and then x is not less than 10, so it stops. But the thing about this is, it's going to do this at least once, no matter what this says. So if we change x to something like 14, then you'll see it still prints out 14 at least once, instead of something like, if we just had while x is less than 10, it'll only print out 14 once. But if we change it something like, if we change it back to 0, then it's going to print out everything twice. No it won't. Oh, no it won't, because that was a terrible example. We have to put x equals 0 again out here. And then x plus plus. So yeah, you can see it prints out everything twice, because you have 9 here, 0, does everything. But if we have x is 14, and we change this also to 14, then you can see it printed out here from the do while loop, but not after here, because, and just to prove this, we're going to put out first loop over. So it printed out 14 before first loop over. And that's because the do, it always does do at least once, and then it decides to check the condition. And since x14, it realized that the condition wasn't true, so it just continued. And as we're here, this condition has to be true before it'll even do it once. So that's a do while loop and for loops. If you like the video, like it. If you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. If I need to go over anything again, please leave a comment on that. I'll go over it as soon as I can. If you have suggestions for what you want me to cover next, then also leave a comment on that. And